Hello and welcome to Real Person Reviews. I'm Sam and I'm a real person. And today I want to talk to you about Castlevania Dominus Collection. It's on modern platforms. I played it on the Xbox Series X. And what this basically is a collection of the three Nintendo DS Castlevania games all into one for modern systems. And this is not really a review of each of those games. There's even two bonus games. If you want to see reviews for all the games included, more specifically, that's going to be linked in the description below, I hope. I've already reviewed them separately. This is more about this collection itself. So, with that in mind, let's just kind of jump in. Okay, so I think the thing I have to really address immediately with this, a few things. There are basically three major things that I really want to push on this, okay? So, because these were all on the Nintendo DS before, we never thought we'd really see these come out on anything else because the DS had two screens and one of them was a touchscreen. They've kind of gotten around this by giving you, for one thing with the screens, they've given you this option where essentially the left side of your screen by default is a big screen where all the action happens, and on the right you have two smaller screens. You have like three screens. So there's like one of them has the map, one of them has like the status. You don't even have to toggle between those two either. There's other settings too you can do. Have it just two screens for things. You can even do two screens stacked like it is originally. That gets a little small, but you have these screen options to see everything, and that's a way to fix being able to see multiple screens at once. It does reduce some of your screen real estate that way, and especially coming off of the Castlevania Advance collection, where those games had less detail. They covered more of the screen. It's a little jarring to see. You have to adjust to it, but once you adjust, it's really not too bad. For the touchscreen part, if you move the right stick, that basically brings the cursor up, and you can hit the right trigger, and that'll be basically like you're touching the screen. You can change that to different speeds by clicking the stick in, and so you can change it to the speed you want to. And so that's a nice fix over the top of this to still use those touch features when you have to. And I think the biggest thing with that too is you're probably thinking like, okay, yeah, I'm playing it on a console, right? And like, yeah, sure, I can have all the screens up there and I can move the thing around like that to do some of the touch parts, but how do I do the magic seals that way in Dawn of Sorrow? How the hell am I supposed to do that? Because for me, that was my biggest concern as well. I wanted to see how they did, that, because there's no way in hell I could barely draw that with a stylus. I wasn't able to beat the game. So, doing the whole thing of like this with a stick is like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do that. Can I skip it? Did they take it out? Well, no. What they've done here is actually they put in a button mode. So basically when you're doing those magic seals, instead of drawing it, you basically just hit the points in order that you would be drawing your lines to. And if you fail it the first time, then it'll highlight it the next time. It'll just be highlighting the next thing you're supposed to hit. So that makes this way more enjoyable, way more playable, and is absolutely the best part about this, I think. I cannot stress enough how much I love that. I mean, because without it, again, I would never have beaten Dawn of Sorrow. So I think if anybody else, if you're out there and you had problems with Dawn of Sorrow drawing the magic seals, and basically you were liking everything else until that, definitely give this a try, even if just for that game. And for other features, there's still a number of things like they have, keep in mind this is not a remake or anything. Like stuff, the resolution is upped and everything, so it looks nice. Except for assets that were blurry to begin with are bigger, they're better resolution, but they're still just as blurry because that's the way the art was when they put it in there. And maybe you just couldn't notice because the screen was small. But they've got that. They've got, basically this is like an emulation thing going on here. So all the bugs and glitches and everything, all that stuff is still there, which is good or bad depending on how you feel about that. And they've got the ability to rewind. They've got the ability to I think you can do some stuff with replays maybe. You can do save states. There's a compendium thing to check out info on a bunch of stuff, so you don't have to Google it or find an enemy in the game or something to do it. Looking at enemies and items and equipment and all this, you can just find that in a little handy extra menu in the game. You can remap your controls. With the visual stuff too, you can also do different, like layouts of screens and different like stuff with like backgrounds and scan lines and stuff for the blank areas and the visuals and whatnot. You have options there. You can play different versions of these games, different regional variants if you want to. So even just with the games themselves, there's a lot of like little options for you to do. There's also an art gallery where you can check out like concept art and promotional art. There's also like game manuals and game cases there as well for each of these games. And then there's a music player where you can play all the music from them and even create your own playlist by selecting songs and putting them in there. So you just like don't have to go hunt for them every time, like between all the different things. Just add a playlist of your favorites, and there you go. You have a playlist of all the songs you want to listen to on repeat there. On top of all those, there's also these 2 bonus games here, which admittedly there's no art gallery for those, but the music is still on here. Which is Haunted Castle. The arcade game was from like 1987. That originally only came out in Japan. I think it's been put on a couple of collections and things, but it is now available to play on here as a bonus thing as well. With options like being able to change difficulty. There's a button to just put money in like you're a millionaire in the arcade. Again, I reviewed this separately as well. If you want to look at that, that's also linked. But also the other thing is that they put on here, a brand new thing here, is Haunted Castle Revisited, which is a remake of it that plays more like a standard console-style classic Castlevania game. With updated visuals and graphics and things, and that's also here. Again, that's all in one review. I reviewed the 2 Haunted Castle things. So if you want to hear more about those, but that you get all the stuff in this package together, and I guess also things like achievements as well, or trophies or whatever, depending on your platform. You have access to those potentially as well. So they definitely have done a lot to cram a lot of things into this one package. And the Castlevania Dominus collection is great. I think this is a fantastic thing to have because before this, these games were just going to kind of rot on the DS system, right? Like, you might have a DS or a 3DS, and maybe you can find these, but, I don't know if the prices are going to match the $25 this collection is. Like, $25 for 3 of these awesome Castlevania games in one is plus the bonuses. I mean, that's great, and it's on a modern systems. It's got these fixes for it to make it work this way, so while it may not be ideal for all of the features, I think it works incredibly well. They've kind of thought of this for most of the things. It really only lacks in the sense of, like, Sisters mode on Portrait of Ruin, when you really have to be, like, aiming and slashing things directly on the screen. That might be a little hard for this. I'll give you that. It's not ideal for all things, depending on your platform and your preference, but it makes it easier to, like, also being more available on modern systems, making it easier to capture it and stream it and just, to put it on the big screen for once finally. I think these are all really great features to have on top of everything else. Again, for $25, I think this is a really damn good collection. It's hard to really argue with this. The quality you're getting and all the stuff in here, plus the bonus modes you're playing and everything in each game, and just, I think this is an incredible value. I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm biased because I really like these kind of Castlevania games. If you're looking to get into them in the first place, maybe start with the Advanced Collection. But this isn't a bad place to start either. I don't know why they list them as, reverse order of their release on there. I've been told maybe it's because it's like chronologically in the stories when they happen. That's why they've been released that way in the menus. That's weird. But regardless, I think you're getting a pretty solid package here of Castlevania goodness. And plus the bonus things that went above and beyond. Excellent collection. Glad I played it. Yeah, if you're on the fence about it, definitely get it. It's going to make Dawn of Sorrow a million times more enjoyable to play. It's going to make this more accessible and easier. And I think that overall, this is a good thing. There's really not much to complain about here, unless you were really hoping for some kind of like a remake, I guess. Or for somebody to put out another 2-screen, handheld to keep playing the original things that way. I don't know. But what do you guys think of this collection if you've got it? What do you think? What's your favorite DS Castlevania game? I think for me, Portrait of Ruin still kind of wins out by a hair, but it's actually pretty close with the way Dawn of Sorrow was fixed. So I still got to marinate on that a little bit. But yeah, this decent collection. Really, really had a lot of fun doing this. And what kind of collection would you like to see them, do? Is there would you like to see another Castlevania collection? Because personally, I would if they could, right? I'd love to just keep seeing these. I mean, it's one of those where having weird stuff like maybe some of the more 3D things, so the 64 games in a collection or something, along with something else, and with other odds and ends in there, or some of the weird, fighting game things, or just weird things that were like a PS2 era and that stuff, things that didn't really go over super well, maybe. Or more obscure, just bring them together. I think you still got another collection or two in your Konami. I think you could do it. Just throw it over to whoever the fuck these guys were called, M2, have them do it, and the rest will be history. So yeah, I've just been having fun playing Castlevania games. So look forward to more reviews of Castlevania things. Because I'll probably stay on the streak until I wear out or I die.